Gentlemen, and assembled company, welcome to the World Storytelling Cafe. And tonight is a very special, or day, depending on where you're watching in the world, is a very special day because we've got live from Gaza. Uh, our first plays. We've never had plays on the cafe before, and it's people involved with the Hands Up project, which is fantastic. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm at this very moment going to pass over to Nick, who's going to tell you all about the Hands Up project and all about the plays. And when he's finished nattering, which I'm going to give him 5 minutes to natter, and throw tomatoes at him if he's longer than 5 minutes. And then we'll just ask you all to just, well, you should have by now have clicked on, have all been on no hide non-video participants and all that sort of thing. But failing that, just turn off your videos and your audio. But right now, as I've cut in by 3/4 of an hour to Nick's 5 minutes. No, you still have 5 minutes, Nick. Can you please put your hands together and welcome Nick from the Hands Up Project? Way.
Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much. And I'm very pleased that you said you're going to throw some tomatoes at me, but so far Zoom doesn't have the feature that the tomatoes will actually hit me. So you'll just be ruining your own computer. So I'm safe from anything you throw at me, which is fantastic. I'm going to let everyone into the waiting room as they join us. So my name is Nick Pilborough, and I'm the founder and the coordinator of a UK registered charity called the Hands Up Project. Hands Up Project. Hands Up. And it's called the Hands Up Project because we believe that kids putting their hands up and wanting to participate is a fantastic way for young people to be given a voice in the world. And this is really what we're doing with our work. So we work in Palestine, in occupied Palestine. We work mainly in Gaza. This is an aerial view of Jabalia refugee camp. Yeah. You can see behind us here. And this is one of the places we work in Gaza. And what we do is we connect young people in schools, in United Nations schools and Ministry of Education schools, to a team of volunteers around the world. And we do online storytelling. And we also do theatre. So we encourage young people in Palestine to create plays, and we've developed, or I should say, the young people in Palestine have developed their own form of theatre, which we call remote theatre. So this is plays that are written and created to be performed through Zoom. And so far, some of these plays have been performed at conferences all around the world. They've been performed in schools and libraries. A few weeks ago, some of the plays were performed at the War Child Museum in Sarajevo. And what we've got for you tonight are 2 plays performed by students from 2 United Nations schools in Gaza City. Now, something about these plays were originally written to be performed by a group through Zoom, but performed by a group. Now, as schools in Palestine are closed and everyone is stuck at home, the teachers and the students have had to completely rework these plays so that they can be performed with students in isolation. So this is something very special, and it's required a lot of creativity and a lot of hard work by the amazing kids and teachers in Gaza. Look, I'm a man and I'm not very good at multitasking, and I keep having to admit people from the waiting room. So I'm going to, please forgive me if I ignore you in the waiting room. Now, in order to make this really work well, the performances, I'm going to ask everyone if they could please mute themselves and also turn off their webcams. Okay, just during the performances. We're going to do both performances back to back. They're just 5-minute long plays. When the plays finish, we'll have a chance to applaud the actors and talk to them about how they made the play, why they made the play, and what they got out of making the play and performing the play. But if we could please get everyone to turn off their webcams during the performances, and I would also recommend that if you put your Zoom settings onto hide non-video participants, I'll just share that with you now. If you click on the little arrow next to stop video, and then you scroll down, you'll see this option here, which says hide non-video participants. If you hide non-video participants, you'll only see the people who have their videos on. Okay? I'll also try to spotlight them. So, let me stop sharing. So, let me just check that everyone is ready in Gaza for the performances. Are you all ready?
Yeah, we are ready.
Okay, so if you could ask, please, to turn off your video, Ali. Marrakesh, could you turn off your video, please? Okay, fantastic. So, and you're going to turn off yours too, Iman, yeah?
Son, I can't believe you're gone. I can't believe you're dead. I never had a chance to say goodbye. I'm sorry, son. I couldn't say goodbye. I can't believe your heart stopped and your body became cold. And I had to bury you in this grave. It must be so dark down there. You don't like darkness. I want to be with you, but I can't. I don't want to see the worms eating your body. Forgive me, dear. I left you alone. Look, I brought you this flower. I know you love flowers. I buy flowers for you every morning. I'm sorry, son. I couldn't say goodbye. I feed your cat every day. She's cool. And you know what? I started to eat spinach. I'm sorry that I never ate it with you. Son, dear, forgive me. Please forgive me. I couldn't say goodbye. God, he's only 18. Oh, I can't bear it anymore. Son, dear, forgive me. Please forgive me. I couldn't say goodbye. You left so early. You squeezed my hand in the hospital. You looked at me. A tear slid down your left eye. You wanted to say something, but you said nothing. What did you want to say? What did you want to say? For God's sake, what did you want to say?
I just wanted to say I love you, Mom. I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for the love and care.
My son, my child, are you okay?
Easy, Mom, easy. I'm okay. No more bands. I'm okay.
Is it cold down there? Are you scared?
No, Mom. It's so warm and very peaceful in here. Someone is looking after me. Don't worry. I'm safe. I miss you, Mom, but I am happy. Please, stay strong, Mom.
I will, son. I will.
And keep in touch with me.
Of course. Of course I will, dear. I will.
Now I can say goodbye, Mom.
No, stay, please. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye, my dear. Goodbye. I'm free now. And you too, son. You are free. The pain will never go, but it become less. I will be okay. I will be okay. I can see the shiny, happy light ahead. I can see it.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. I'm just going to sorry, there's a couple of people in the waiting room. I'm just going to let them in. I couldn't let them in during the performance, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Okay, great. That was amazing performance. We're going to go straight into the second play. That was students from Al Rimal Prep Girls School B, which is an UNRWA school in Gaza City, Iman and Marwa, and their teacher is Amal Mujeres. Now we're going to go, and that play is called I Couldn't Say Goodbye. The next play is called Oh My Home, and it's performed by students from Asma Prep Girls School B, another UNRWA school in Gaza City. And the teacher is called Hanin Khalid, and the students are Noor and Haya. So if everyone could turn off their webcams again, and we will just go to okay, brilliant.
Okay.
Okay, you're going to turn off your webcam, Amal. Great. Okay, just let me hold on a second.
I am
Just a second. Okay.
that part of nature that always giving you peace of mind. You can sit near my beaches and look at the sun when it lies. I have this pearly blue color mixing with the sky, and I have always been a symbol of love and a source of life. But, but now, shall I be a source of death for this man? Shall I be a source of death for this man, his child and wife? His child and wife? And the baby sank. Yet I can hear what her soul wants to tell me. Her soul wants to tell me that one day, once upon a dark night, I was I was feeling warm in the lap of my mom, and she was singing, "Twinkle, twinkle, little stars, how I wonder what you are." But when my dad came, he was so angry and so tired of life. So he said, "How hard it is! How awful life is! It's hurting like a knife. I can bring you nothing. We should leave this tiny piece of land." Where? Where? Let's get on a boat to a land where we can taste a sweet flavor of life. But no place is like home. No place is like home. At home, you may feel pain, but one day a lot, a lot will be gained. Come on, dear, come on. Prepare our luggage and don't forget the baby's coat. Don't forget the baby's coat. So they get into a boat to a land seeking for a better life. And now I hug them all. I try to hug their pale faces and shining eyes, but I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't strong enough in front of a thunderstorm. I tried to be warm. I tried, and this baby started to cry. And yes, they died. They died because they wanted to taste a real flavor of years. They died because they wanted to have a life full of laughter, not a life full of tears. Because they were connected to its sand. Because they felt strangers on their homeland and they were connected to its sand. And nobody was giving helping hand. And now they all close their eyes forever. I am wondering, I am asking myself if any place on the earth, any place, can gift you something like a home.
There is no one on the earth that will be like me. I am where your heart is. I am where your soul rests. I am where your love abides and where memories never, never end. East or west, home is the best. We belong to home and home belongs to us. So
So
if you feel sad and alone, and if you think you are completely torn, remember that no place is like a home.
at home, you will always have a heart that will never beat if you are apart. Oh, my home, Glory and beauty, grace and majesty are in your halls, in your halls.
Thank you. Thank you for those amazing performances. Every time I see these plays, they move me in different ways, and they keep just getting better and better. So thank you, Noor, Haya, Iman, and Marwa for those amazing performances. And thank you too to the teachers, Amal and Hanin, for your great, great work in putting these plays together. So what I thought we could do now was just open it up. If everyone could turn on their webcams again, and wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
that was amazing.
open it up to questions.
Yeah.
How much time do we have, John?
Well, you as many questions as there are, we have time to answer them. I'm sure Liz won't mind waiting while the questions are answered.
Okay, so we've got lots of very positive comments in there. You know, very beautiful, very moving. Bravo! What a great performance! Amazing. These plays are beautiful, powerful, and incredibly moving. Well done to all. Yeah. So you know, this is really innovative theatre, I think, and it's something that's really being developed in Gaza because of the particular situation that people live in.
Yeah.
So anyone got any questions for the girls and the teachers?
Well, it's not a question, but I just want to congratulate everyone, and it was a real privilege being able to host this on the World Storytelling Cafe, and I hope to see some more. I think David is bringing in some tellers on Tuesday night from Gaza. I don't know if any of you are the same people, but it was just brilliant. It was brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Bob's got a question, but I was just thinking maybe perhaps we could hear from Noor and Haya and Marwa and Imad just about something about the play. Do you want to say something? Who'd like to go first? Noor, would you like to say something?
I always say, and I will always say, this play, when I just start to perform it, it makes me so emotional and sad of what's happening around the world, of our idea of this play, which is the refugees. And our play talks about a family decided to leave their homeland because of they didn't find any rights, and they didn't find a way to live on their homeland in the right way, so they couldn't find anything. They decided to go or leave their homeland to another place, but unfortunately, they decided to go by an illegal way, which is the sea. And when they left their homeland, unfortunately, they died because of the sea and because of the circumstances of this. Um, that's it. And oh, I really can't say. It's really sad to to say it. Yeah, I can't. But that's it.
Well, you did a great job, Noah. A really beautiful job. It's a beautiful play. Bob, what was your question, Bob? Do you want to turn?
Not so much a question, but just a comment. You know, we don't get much real news about Gaza here in the United States, and especially here in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And in particular, you know, we don't. It's very, very rare to have an experience of hearing from someone live, in person, in real time, and you know, your personal humanity and the whole situation there comes through in a way that is a privilege, because it's not usually available to us. So thank you so much, everybody, for the whole project.
Thank you, Bob. Yeah, I should just say actually that, I mean, we all know that the situation in Gaza is very difficult, extremely difficult for people who live there. But I mean, this is a play that was inspired by the picture of the young Syrian boy that went viral, that was seen all over the world. This picture, I think his name was Ahlan, the boy who was found.
Ilan.
Sorry?
I think his name is Ilan.
Ilan, yeah. So
he was thrown on the shore of Greece, I think.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay, so would somebody from the other play, Imad or Marwa, would you like to say something?
Yeah,
Marwa, let me just change the spotlight. Where have you gone, Marwa? Spotlight.
Okay, I want to say the message from our play. Okay, in Gaza, a lot of people lose their son, daughter, brother, or sister in the war. So we should tell the world about this sad story to everyone, their people heart every moment.
And you did that so powerfully and so beautifully, Marwa. That play is very moving. It makes me cry every time I see it.
Oh, I think another huge round of applause for all the children and their teachers, of course.
Have we got time to just hear from the teachers as well?
Have we got some teachers with us? That would be wonderful.
We've got Haneen and Amal. So Haneen and Amal, would you like to say something? Are you still here?
I just wanted to comment on what Bob said. I mean, the aim of doing these plays through the Hands Up project is to make people aware of what's happening here in Gaza. We've been under the blockade now for about 14 years now, and now these plays shows what life like here in Gaza, being under the blockade and being under the bombing and air strikes that happen regularly here in Gaza. and it shows what it is like to be a teenager, because these plays are written or are created and performed by students, and you can see what is life like here in Gaza through their eyes. They tell the story of Gaza from their own perspective, and this is actually doing these plays through the stage of the Hands Up project, and having audience like you people, and like people who are watching us now on the Facebook, helps those students to develop this sense of belonging to the whole world, and to make them feel that they are not alone, and that people around the world are they care about them, and they want to listen to them, and support them. And what is more beautiful than such a message?
Yes.
So thank you for having us. Thank you for the Hands Up project. Thank you, Nick, and thank you for all the volunteers from the Hands Up. Thank you, girls. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please visit us. Please visit us again. And
I think if we've got time, I think
yeah, we have to. We've always got time.
Yeah, great.
Well, we're live. We always have time.
Would you like to say something, Haneen?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, first of all, and thank you for having us today. I just would like to say that this is how drama and remote theatre work its magic on people in Palestine, on kids in Palestine. It's a kind of survival for them to go away from the hard life they live in. So I just say that this play talked about a universal theme of how it feels like to be a refugee. So those kids could stand very tall and speak about this universal theme and think about others while they are thinking themselves of being refugees on their homeland. And they are moving the whole world while they are stuck at home, and while they are preventing from their simplest right of travel abroad. It's true that they are facing a hard. It's true that they are stuck in Gaza. They travel. They can't see how it feels like to be in another country. But at the same time, it's a kind of amazing moments when they put their heads and their hands together for an ultimate goal of creating plays and telling the whole world their stories. It's not only about the plays and the language learning and development. It's much more about values and literature and culture, and having these kind of feelings that they are strong and powerful, and they can describe and move the whole world by talking about universal themes while they are talking about themselves. So thank you for the Hands Up project, who provides this tiny screen for the kids, but in fact it's as wide as the ocean in front of their eyes. They can set up their goals while they are talking to the volunteers in every country around the world. They can send their wishes and their dreams across oceans to tell everyone their stories and also the world's story. Thank you.
That's great. Could we just also hear from Iman and Haya, so that everyone has a chance to just say something? So, Iman, do you want to speak now?
Yeah, I want to tell you my message to the world from the play. That women all over the world suffer from many problems, specifically the Palestinian woman, who over time was forced to get used to losing her family and loved ones, and not feeling stable and safe, and was not given an opportunity to say goodbye before the sudden departure. Just thank you.
Thank you, Iman. Thank you, Iman. Haya, do you want to say something?
I would like to say thank you to the Hands Up project.
Can you just speak a bit louder, Haya? It's a bit quiet.
would like to say thank you to the Hands Up Project and thank you to the Mr. Nick. I spent the most beautiful 2 years in my life in this project, which developed my English language and my skills in acting and my confidence in myself. And I am so happy to be a part in this project to tell the whole world our message. Thank you.
Thank you, Haya. Thank you very much, Haya. Okay. I will hand back over to Julio.
Yeah, I think Julio might. Is Ali? I saw Ali about. Oh, Julio's back. So, Julio, are you now host?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
John, can I
thing
just
is,
say
we have to
very
do all
quickly?
the backstage stuff in public on this in this Zoom world. All this stuff would be hidden behind the curtain if we were in actual reality. But it's like sort of seeing everything, seeing all the props working and everything going backstage. But it's wonderful, and thank you so much. It's our first of many, I hope. Connections with the Hands Up project. I know Nick is coming on a Monday night, which is the second, is it? Or which Monday night are you coming on? I've got it, but one Monday night.
Not tomorrow, but next Monday.
Yeah, next, which will be the 2nd of November, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't got my diary in front of me, but talking about the Hands Up project, and hopefully there'll be teachers and maybe some students joining in then. We're starting our round the world, our international youth night, which is going to be every Tuesday. So any of your students who want to join us to tell a story are welcome any Tuesday. We're doing that 1 hour earlier because it's a bit earlier in Gaza and Romania. We'll have children hopefully from Nepal, Romania, UK, and Gaza on this Tuesday here. I'm very excited about that.
John, can I just say, this is David here. Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. And yeah, like you say, on Tuesday, we've got 2 definite storytellers from the Hands Up project from Gaza. There's Arij is going to tell a folktale from Palestine, and Noor, another Noor, I think, is going to tell a folktale from Palestine. And there's going to be more the following Tuesday and maybe every Tuesday. So we're very excited. And I'm so proud to be part of the Hands Up project. Hats off to Nick, hats off to you all. It's amazing.
And I promise this is the last thing I'm going to say, but lots of these plays are available in book form on our website. So if you look on the Hands Up project website, you'll see the books are available to buy. And we've got the scripts are there and also notes from the students about how they made the play and why they made the play. So that's it. That's the end of the...
Thank you, Nick. No, it's okay, Nick. We didn't throw tomatoes at you because everything you were saying was incredibly important.
Oh, good.
So that's wonderful. And we hopefully those of you that don't have to run back before curfew can stay and listen to Liz, who's the second part of the program, who's in New Mexico. And I've just watched her smiling through the whole first half of the program, and it's almost cruel to make you perform now, Liz. Bring your head back into that performance space. But we'll give one more huge round of applause to the school children in Gaza students, and yeah, it could go on for hours, couldn't it? There's just no end to the applause you deserve. And please welcome with another round of applause the second half of the program. You know, in a theatre you go out on an interval, but we haven't got an interval. We don't have a place where you can go and get coffee, so we'll go straight on. We'll move from Gaza on our magic carpets across to New Mexico, the wondrous world of Zoom. So please, can you welcome Liz Mangual from New Mexico?
Well, gosh, I don't even know how to begin after that. Really, it was so moving, so touching. And I just want to thank the teachers. First, Nick, for all the work that you are doing with your organization to give voice to the people of that region. And also the teachers that have put in all their time and energy in helping the performers get to a place where they can give voice to the people of Gaza. So thank you. And thank you so much. It was really, really powerful. Your emotions came through so strongly. Now I have to take a deep breath and sort of make a transition here, but
can I cut in before your breath, Liz? There's something very important I forgot to say. That if you want to donate to the Hands Up project tonight, if you go to the website, the World Storytelling Cafe website, you'll find a little hat below Liz's picture. And Liz has very kindly said the whole of tonight's hat is going to the Hands Up project. So
absolutely.
So thank you, Liz. Back over to you. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to bring it up. So thank you, John. Yes, absolutely. Now I live in New Mexico, and we've been here now for about 24 years. And but I was born on the island of Puerto Rico, which is a Caribbean island, and it's one of the smaller, or not the smallest, but the smaller islands on the Caribbean, next to the Dominican Republic and then Cuba. So I grew up in New York City. And today I thought that I'd share a couple of stories, John. I'm gonna share two stories. And the first one is a creation story that came, and I'll tell you a little bit more about where this story came from to me, but it's a creation story that comes from that part of the world, the Caribbean. So long ago, before the blue-green waters covered the lands of the Caribbean, there were 4 mountains: Cuba, Hispaniola, Jamaica, Boriken, Puerto Rico. And living in a small village by the edge of a green and lush rainforest was a cacique, a chief, whose name was Yaya. Yaya lived with his wife Atabey and their only child, a young man whose name was Yayael. Now Yayael was widely respected by everyone in the village for his skillful hunting. Whenever Yayael went hunting, he always brought back enough game to feed everyone in the village. Each day, he'd set out deep into the forest. He'd go with his bow and arrow slung over his shoulders. The bow, his father Yaya carved for him from the wood of the tabonuco tree. The tabonuco is a tree that is still revered today for its magical and life-giving powers. One day, when Yayael was deep in the forest, he noticed that everything changed around him in the woods. The air thickened, the clouds darkened, the wind picked up, and the wind blew fiercely through the woods. And as it shrieked through the woods, the birds circled above, beating their wings frantically against the force of the storm. Yayael knew the sign. He knew that Guabansek, the goddess of hurricanes, was near. And desperately, he ran, trying to escape and find shelter, but there was no escape. There was no escaping Guabansek. She was fierce, she was angry, she was unstoppable. The people out in the fields too knew the signs, and they ran. They ran this way and that way. Some managed to find safety and shelter inside a cave, but others did not make it. And while they waited inside for Guabansek, the hurricane, to spend her fury, they huddled together and prayed, Yukau, protect our children, protect our village, protect us. But outside, the winds blew. They howled and raged. They howled and raged for hours. They blew fiercely through the forest. Yaya and Atabey prayed for their son. Yayael, Yayael, may you be safe. But the wind kept on blowing. When the wind finally died down and the storm cleared, the people went out and found devastation everywhere. Most of the huts had been flattened by the hurricane. Trees were toppled and plants uprooted, rivers overflowing. The people went searching for the missing ones. And Yaya went searching for his son. From village to village, he searched, but he couldn't find Yayael. He went deeper into the forest only to find more devastation. More devastation, more trees toppled, more plants uprooted, rivers overflowing. And just before he turned around to go back to his village, he stumbled upon Yayael's bow, the very one he had carved. There's hope, he thought. Yayael! Yayael! But there was no answer. Later that day, when Yaya returned home to his village and his wife saw him returning with only their son's bow, she knew that they would never see their son again. And they hugged each other and wept. All through the night, they wept and wept. And in the morning, when the sun rose, Yaya and Atabey took their son's bow and placed it inside a large gourd. Yaya told his wife, let's hang it up on the rafters. And so they hung the gourd up on the rafters of their hut. And he said to his wife, maybe our son will come back. Well, his spirit will come and visit us someday, Ata. And they left it there. And time went by. And time went by. And with time, the people's grieving began to pass. And slowly, the people began to will themselves back to work again. They rebuilt their homes and rebuilt their village. And the women slowly began to plant the surviving seeds. They planted corn, beans, squash, yucca, their sacred cassave. And the men slowly began to go hunting again. And But without Yaya's skill and the power of the tabanuco tree, they seldom brought back enough game to feed the entire village. Food was scarce. Hunger was widespread. And then one day, Yaya said to his wife, Ata, I really miss our son. I miss our son, Ata. I want to lower the gourd. I want to feel him close to me. I want to feel him. And so Yaya reached up for the gourd. And when he reached for the gourd, he slipped and the gourd tipped from his hands. And they stood there stunned when they saw fish pouring out of the gourd. 1, 2, 3, 4, and more beautiful, plump, silvery fish came pouring out of the gourd. Enough fish to feed the entire village. Atabey went to gather all the villagers while her husband cooked the fish on an open grill. And that evening, all the people in the village slept with barriga llena, corazón contento, full stomach, happy heart. The next day, Atabey went to Itiba's house. Itiba, mother of the sacred twins. Itiba, we need your twins. We need your twins to guard over Yaya's gourd. And so right before she went off to the fields to work, she turned to the twins and said, twins, now don't touch the gourd. Your job is to guard the gourd. Don't let anyone come near it. And then she went off to the fields to work. But it had been a long, hot day. And the boys' hunger grew stronger and their curiosity grew even stronger. And so one of the twins said to the other, let's lower the gourd. Let's lower the gourd. We'll eat the fish and then we'll raise it up and put it back before anyone sees us. And so one twin stepped on top of the other's shoulder and he reached up for the gourd. But just as he was reaching for the gourd, he heard voices. They heard voices. The voices were coming closer. It was Yaya and Atabey. And so in their haste to put the gourd back onto the rafters, the gourd slipped from his hands and fell onto the ground and broke. And now they were amazed. They were mouth open, eyes wide when they saw water come pouring out of the gourd. First a trickle, then a stream, a torrent came pouring out of the gourd. Then a big wave came gushing out of the gourd, swept the twins with it, and Yaya and Atabey and all the village people left the village people by the edge of the field, sputtering, choking, spitting salty water out of their mouths. Salty, just like the salt of tears. More water came pouring out and it kept rising quickly. The people picked themselves up and rushed up the mountain. And from the mountain, they watched in amazement as they saw the water rise, continue to rise above the fields, rise above the tops of their huts, and rise above the few remaining trees that Guabansek, the hurricane, had spared them. The water kept rising, and with it, fish came pouring out. Tuna, marlin, bonefish, all kinds of fish, fish that they had never seen before, came pouring out of the gourd. And up, up it rose. Now the people wondered, will the water ever stop rising? Will it take us away? And in desperation, Yaya stood by the edge of the mountain and called, Yael! Yael, we thank you! We thank you! Enough! And at that moment, the water stopped rising. The water stood still. And the people looked down. And when they saw beautiful, green, blue, shimmering water as far as they could see, surrounding their mountain. And the Taino people of that region, the first people, said that Cuba, Jamaica, Hispaniola, y Puerto Rico, that's how they became islands. And that is how the sea began. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to show, thank you so much for listening to the story. That story came to me through this book, and it's How the Sea Began. It's a picture book written by George Presto, who, but it was really interesting because I tried writing him to get permission to tell the story. And as I searched his name online, I discovered, unfortunately, that he had gone missing some years ago. And when they found him, he was no longer alive. And so I couldn't ask him permission, but then I kept doing some search online and I was led to the original source of where the story came from, which came from a friar whose name was Fray Ramon Pane, who came on Columbus's first voyage and ended up in the Caribbean, in the island of Hispaniola, which is now known as the Dominican Republic and Haiti. And he was commissioned by Columbus to observe and learn from the people of the island, the indigenous people. And there was a germ of a story in his recordings. And I saw the actual original source that was written by him and found it online, which was really amazing. So that's the beauty of the internet. So it leads you to surprising places. And so I've taken the story and used some of the pieces from the book, but I've also adapted it to give it my own voice. So thank you for listening. And then the other story is also a story that comes from, well, I have found versions of this story in Spain and also in Portugal. But the first time that I saw it, it was written in a collection of bilingual folk tales by another bilingual storyteller whose name is Olga Loya. And I have since been telling the stories now for a long time. And the reason I really like it is because it reminds me, whenever I tell the story, I kind of am reminded a little bit of mi abuela, my grandmother. So now my abuela, my grandmother, I think she left the island of Puerto Rico one time, but she lived on the island the entire time. I have family there still. And she was a very humble old lady. I always knew her as an older woman. Even when I was 10 years old, I thought she was an old woman. And but she wore very simple dresses. Her hair was the color of mine, but much longer. And she always wore it in a little bun. And my grandmother lived in a small village. She had chickens, she had flowers, she had avocado trees, coconut trees, and mango trees. So long ago, not in my time and not in your time, but long, long ago, there was an old woman who lived in a small village on the island of Puerto Rico. Oh, she was known by everyone in that village as Tia Miseria, Aunt Misery. Now, Aunt Misery was very much like mi abuela. She was a very humble old woman. She didn't have a lot. She lived in a small house, but she was happy. She was happy because she had her pollitos, her chickens. She had her flores, her flowers. She had her árbol palo de aguacate, her avocado tree. She had her palo de coco, her coconut tree. But best of all, she had her mango tree. Oh, that mango tree produced the most delicious, sweet, juiciest mangoes. There was only one problem. Every day after school, the children would rush from school and go straight to Tia Miseria's house. Oh, they would open up her gate and open up the chicken coops, let the chickens run around. They would stomp her flowers, and worst of all, they would climb her mango tree. When they were up there, they would half eat the mangoes and then throw the half-wasted mangoes down and hit the chickens over the head with them. But then, and they would stay up there until they were good and ready to come down. Oh, Tia Miseria would call up and say, "Bajen de mi árbol, come down from my tree." But the children would not pay any attention. And then while they were up there, they would look down and call, "Tia, Tia, Tia Miseria." You can do that with me. Tia, Tia, Tia Miseria. I said, "Come down from my tree." Nah, the children would say. Well, one day, while Tia was standing in her little kitchen over her stove, she was stirring a big pot of arroz con leche to have that evening. Arroz con leche is rice with warm milk. I'll tell you about it if you ask me about it afterwards. Rice with warm milk, when suddenly she heard a knock on the door. Well, she ignored it the first time, but then again, the second time she ignored it again and kept on stirring her arroz con leche. But when she heard it a third time, she could not ignore it. And when she went to the door, she found an old man at the door. Oh, he was bent over and dressed in rags. He said, "Tia, tengo hambre, tia. I'm hungry. Estoy cansado, tia. I'm tired. Can I spend the night? Do you have something I can eat?" Oh, Tia thought, well, she couldn't refuse the old man. She felt for him. "Es cierto, entre. And she led him to the small table in her kitchen. She served him a big bowl of arroz con leche. And when he was done eating, she gave him a little place on the corner of her home to sleep. And there he slept. And when he got up in the morning, he was sitting at the table having a cup of coffee, and he said to Tia, Tia, now he didn't look quite as ragged as he looked before, and his back was straight, and Tia looked at him and he said, Tia, for your good deed, Tia, I would like to grant you a wish. A wish? Thought Tia. Who is this man? What could I have? I could, she thought silently to herself. Well, I could wish for a mantilla, a shawl to go to church with. I could wish for a new vestido, a new dress. Oh, no, I know what I wish for. What I wish for is that whoever climbs my mango tree should not get down until I say my magic words. Now, the old man thought that was a very strange wish, but he granted her the wish. And he said thank you and left. Well, later that day, the boys did as they always did. When they came out of school, they went straight to Tia's house. They opened up the chicken coop, stomped on her flowers, and climbed her mango tree. When they were up there, they half ate the mangoes, threw the rest down, and hit the chickens over the head with them. And then they called, Tia, 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 miseria. But this time, Tia didn't say a word. She went inside her little casita. She made herself una tacita de café, a cup of coffee. She brought it outside and sat by the steps. And the boys were calling, Tia, 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 miseria. But Tia just drank her coffee. What's wrong with Tia? Why isn't she yelling at us? Tia, 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 miseria. Well, it had gotten late, and it was time for them to come down from the tree. But when they tried to come down, they were stuck in Tia's tree. Tia, Tia, what's going on? Let us down. No. Tia, let us down. We have to do our homework. No. Tia, Tia, please. They began to cry and plead and beg, let us down. If I let you down, do you promise that you'll never come back to bother me again? Yes, yes. And before I let you down, from now on, you will call me Tia Esperanza. And hope, not Aunt Misery. Yes, yes, we promise, the boy said. We promise. We will call you Tia Esperanza. Let us down. And she said her magic words. Bajen, bajen, bajen de mi árbol. Come down, come down, come down from my tree. And as soon as she said that, the boys came down from the tree. They ran down the path. And she never did see those boys again. And then one day, Tia was in her kitchen again, standing over her stove, stirring another pot, a pot of habichuelas rojas, red beans. She stirred and stirred when she heard another. ¿Quién será? No esperaba a nadie. I wasn't expecting anyone. And the person knocked 2 more times. And on the 3rd time, she went to the door. And when she opened the door, oh, there was someone standing there. But it was not the same person. It was a tall, skinny man. His face was as white as a sheet. His eyes were dark and deep set. When he looked at her and she looked at him, her hair stood up and down her back. Soy muerte. I am death, tía. Oh, muerte. Death, I was waiting for you. Come on in, muerte. Tía, I'm in a hurry, tía. Now, let's go. Oh, muerte, but you do have a lot of people to pick up along the way, don't you, muerte? I see, I have a long list of people. Now hurry up, tía, let's go. Oh, muerte, it's going to be such a long journey that I'm sure we'll all get hungry. And my mango tree, the mangoes on my mango tree are perfectly ripe, muerte. Muerte, let's take some mangoes for the journey. Ay, está bien, tía. All right, tía. But hurry up, climb your tree. You want me to climb my tree? I'm on death's door. You climb my tree, muerte. Ay, muy bien. And so muerte, death, climbed Tia's tree. And when he was up there, he picked one of those mangoes and, oh, it was the sweetest, juiciest mango. Then he stuffed his big black pockets with the mangoes. When he went to come down, he was stuck in Tia's tree. What's going on, Tia? Let me down. No. I said, let me down, Tia. No. Well, muerte spent the whole day in Tia's tree. A day and a week and months went by. A whole year went by. And death was still stuck in Tia's tree. Oh my God. No one in the village was dying. Then one day, Tia's old friend came by and said, Tia, let muerte down. I'm old, my bones hurt. I'm ready to go, Tia. Tia, let muerte down. Tia looked at her friend and she couldn't refuse her. Si lo dejo bajar, me prometes que nunca más volverás para mí. If I let you down, do you promise that you'll never come back for me? And muerte said, yes, Tia, I promise. And Tia said her magic words. Baje de mi árbol. Come down from my tree. And as soon as she said that, death came down, grabbed Tia's old friend, and ran off down the path. And she never did see muerte again because muerte, death, kept his promise. And if you were to go to that little village on the island of Puerto Rico and asked around, do you know where Tia Esperanza is? Can you tell me where I can find her? The people will tell you, oh yes, I can't tell you where she is, but I can tell you that she lives on and on and on. And that is why there is still hope in the world. Colorín colorado. Ese cuento se ha acabado. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Those are my two stories for you today. I know we've had a long program, and I think I'll keep it at 2, John. So
John?
It was a pleasure to be part of this whole group and to have you listen to my stories and also to hear your stories that were so amazingly powerful, and they're really going to resonate with me for the rest of the day and even longer.
I think John's muted. John, you're muted at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Lucy. I was about to. Now, what I said when I was muted was, thank you, Liz. Obviously, a big thank you and a round of applause for Liz.
You're welcome.
If anyone's got any questions for Liz, but before that, I wanted to announce that in 3/4 now time, Lucy Anderson Wood, who was actually the whole world storytelling cafe was her idea, and it sprung from a center she wanted to, and is being built in Marrakesh. So a story center. So, but she's doing her own series of stories on Sunday nights, and tonight at 8 o'clock UK time is the 5 Foundation. Will introduce people to 5 different coloured fountains on the hillside, each having different powers and energies that mirror the energy of the chakras. It is designed to help people relax and make any changes in their personal development they feel ready to take. So that's in 3/4 now. But right now, have we got any? Does anyone want to say anything to Liz? You can all unmute yourselves.
That was really great.
I forgot to do.
I really enjoyed both of those stories. They were great, and loved your facial expression and the voices. It was very, very engaging and fun. It was really good fun. Lots of laughter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was just so beautiful. So many powerful images coming into my head from those stories. It was lovely.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Well, thank you all for listening to the stories, and thank you for including me as part of this group of tellers today. Yeah, it was wonderful.
For me, tonight was really what the World Storytelling Cafe is all about.
Yeah.
You know, it was truly international and introducing different voices. And, you know, and not just that, it was being run from different places. The bus was being driven by Ali, big round of Ali in Marrakesh, who's been our host for the second half. Thank you, Ali. And,
thank you, John. Thank you so much.
And thank you. And at the beginning, it was being driven by Yuliu in Romania. So you know, so where have we been tonight? We've been to Romania, Marrakesh, Gaza, New Mexico, England. You know, it's not a bad. It's
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, of course.
Right. Stories anyway. Right.
So has anyone got anything else? Well, questions to each other, little 5-minute natter, and then we'll let Ali go to bed. No, he's got to look after Lucy, yeah. Okay.
I just want to say thank you again to Nick for the work that you're doing and for giving us the pleasure of hearing the performers today. Yeah, it was really great. It was so powerful that.
Thank you, Liz. And if you would like to be a volunteer with us, we would love that. If you'd like to connect to young people in Gaza or anywhere in Palestine and tell them stories through Zoom, you know, that would be fantastic. So we'd be very honored if you would be interested in doing that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. I will definitely keep that in mind. Absolutely. I'd love to hear more of your stories.
I must say that I first came across Liz and Bob, who are partners and husband and wife down in New Mexico, but I came across them in the early days of international internet in the 90s, when they were running a youth storytelling project with young people of an interesting background, and who had a bit of trouble, and I was doing storytelling in prison. So, and it's great to have them back now.
Yeah, it really is. And that was a wonderful way of connecting with you, John, of meeting you through that project that we were doing with incarcerated youth and your work. So that was very special.
Yeah, I'll just.
I'm glad that we were able to reconnect and to be part of this World Storytelling, International World Storytelling Cafe network. There's Bob. You know, if I turn my video off, I appear like Bob because I'm using his computer.
Bob, you wanted to say
connected,
something.
But no, I just wanted to say, since you brought up the project, John, it was just such a wonderful project because the young teenagers that we were working with who were having some problems with the law were writing stories. They were writing hero's journey stories and then sending them over to John, and John was working with adult prisoners, and they were learning how to tell stories to their children. So they were telling, among other things, the stories that our kids in New Mexico sent over, and it was just a wonderful collaboration. So we love collaborations, and I would certainly look forward to making a contribution and learning from the work that you're doing, Nick, with everyone there. So count me in.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
I've signed you up already.
Right. Oh, well, you know, sometimes you just don't want to bring a party to an end, but we'll see you all sometime. And you know, any of the adults that want to, or needn't necessarily be adults, but want to have their own folk tales from anywhere in the world. Every 2 weeks, next Sunday, it's our worldwide story round. So just turn up at that, and we'll call you in, and you can tell stories. So, and I'm sure a lot of the teachers, you know, I know they're working with youngsters all the time, but they have stories of their own. So maybe you want to tell a tale or two.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to mention to Nick that if any of the students would like to contribute to the My Story section on the World Storytelling Cafe, we have a section for people who are not professional storytellers, but they're aspiring storytellers, or they're people who just want to tell their story. So we've got a few stories from different people around the world who've had growth experiences, and their stories are really inspiring. And it sounds to me like Marwa and Eman and Haya and Noor, everybody who's spoken tonight have probably got some amazing stories that they may or may not want to share in that sort of platform. So that would be very welcome to us as well, wouldn't it, John?
It would indeed. And it's a really easy email address. It's worldstorytellingcafe@gmail.com. And you just send it across, and Lucy and Ilya and those people that understand technical things will deal with it. I'm just a front man.
That's a wonderful offer. I'm sure we'll get back to you on that. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Right. Well, it's been a great party. It's been one of the best parties I've been to in a while. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And a big round of applause for our tellers and our playwrights and our teachers. And thank you all for coming. Okay. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Great to meet everyone. Wonderful to meet everyone.
Goodbye. Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista. Hasta luego. Hasta la próxima.
Hasta luego. Hasta luego.
Islama.
Islama. Bye. Bye.
Adios.
Bye. Adios.
Bye.